connection. For this next segment, we're going to continue on the transportation theme with a guest from the I-70 Mountain Corridor Coalition. Margaret Bowes, welcome to the SCTV studio.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
All right, so we're talking today about winter travel and how to avoid some pitfalls. We just talked with our friends at CDOT about some measures they have in place, both in terms of public information and operations and things like that. So tell us just first, a little bit about the I-70 Coalition and the goals of the organization.
Okay, so the I-70 Coalition, it's been around since 2004, and it represents 28 local governments, so towns, counties, and resorts along the I-70 corridor. We also work with communities kind of off the corridor that are very dependent on I-70, like Winter Park, Fraser, Aspen.
Sure.
And really, we were formed to advocate for improvements along the I-70 mountain corridor. And we really work to keep the focus and attention of the Transportation Commission, our congressional representatives, and our legislative representatives on this corridor. So when money is and resources are coming available, that they are well aware of our needs here in the mountain corridor.
All right, fantastic. And then, kind of keeping your eyes on the big picture and keeping those opportunities on the front burner is a big part of what you do. But then there are also a lot of kind of real-time congestion mitigation programs that the coalition is working on. So tell us about those.
Yeah, I see our organization as having kind of two very different focuses. One is that long-term, keeping our eye on the big prize of large-scale improvements. But knowing that any I-70 project takes a long time to plan and to get environmental improvements and to construct, we do look a lot at more near-term opportunities of how we can help I-70 function better today. So some of those near-term strategies, probably the one that has the best bang for the buck, so to speak, is trying to encourage folks to travel at off-peak times. So we know I-70 has lots of capacity available, but folks want to travel the same days of the week, same time of day.
Right.
So if we can get those folks to spread out a little bit more, it will have a huge impact on the length of delays on I-70. So we encourage folks to travel at off-peak times. We do this through putting a travel forecast out every Thursday afternoon. We put it on our GoI70.com website and push it out through Facebook and Twitter and e-blasts, all sorts of ways you can get the information. And it simply outlines for folks, for especially our weekend travelers, to go to that travel forecast and learn what times they can travel to avoid that congestion.
And so talk a little bit about where the data and information comes from that kind of feeds into that forecast so that you're able to predict within a reasonable degree of reliability.
Right. Yeah, and I-70 traffic is surprisingly predictable. From one weekend to the next, it might not be exactly the same, but if you pick one weekend and look back at the last 3 years of historical travel data, it's really amazing that traffic seems to be very predictable. So we have historical data for the last 3 years. We also look at what the weather was doing on that weekend, what events were happening, what the predicted weather is for the coming weekend, and kind of pull all that information together and put together our best estimation for what folks can expect. And it's surprisingly accurate.
Great. And then what are all the different ways that people can find that travel forecast?
So GoI70.com it's posted there every week, but we also do a post through all of our social channels, Twitter and Facebook, and soon Instagram, and link back to that travel forecast. We also have a newsletter outreach that we do. If folks want to go to GoI70.com, there's a place where they can sign up to get a semi-weekly e-blast that also links to that information.
Okay, great. Are there any other resources that you want to highlight that are available through GoI70.com?
Yeah, a big focus for us this winter is encouraging folks to visit our mountains without their personal vehicle. And fortunately, with every passing year, there's more and more options for folks to do that. We have CDOT's bus staying, for example. And I know you'll be sharing some information with your viewers on that program. We have Front Range Ski Bus. Winter Park has the ski train. There's a new rideshare app that the I-70 Coalition is really excited about. It's called the Gondola app. And that is designed to connect folks in Boulder and along the Front Range that want to come up and ski and want to form a ride share. And so they can go to the Gondola app and find a ride to Copper Mountain, Vail, Breckenridge, and Winter Park are the resorts that they'll be serving this winter.
Okay. So the idea is almost that your car is like a gondola.
That's right,
whisking
exactly.
you up to the mountains with your new friends.
That's exactly right. Then Lyft and Uber are now serving many mountain communities. And so that's yet another way for folks to get up to the mountains and be able to get up here and travel around the mountains without their personal vehicle. So all that information, all those services I just mentioned, and also local transportation options are all listed on GoA70.com under the transit and the rideshare tab. And then also there's deals on GoA70.com that it's local businesses that are offering incentives to folks that stay up in the mountains later into the day, avoid that peak travel time that I mentioned, and enjoy a discount on lodging or dining or a fun activity. So that's another option. And then also GoI70.com lists all the real-time travel information resources. So our project, GoI70, is great for folks that are planning their trip. But once they've decided to get on the road and either head back to the Front Range or head up to the mountains, it's a great idea to look at what's happening on the road at that moment. And CDOT really is a great resource for that real-time road information. All of their resources are listed on our site as well. So cotrip.org is one of the best. The Gov delivery options for folks that want to receive text messages or emails about what's happening on the road. All that information is listed on GoI70.
Okay, so GoI70 is really a nice clearinghouse for all the navigating of the winter driving situation here in the I-70 corridor.
Yeah, if there's information that travelers can use for traveling this corridor, it's on GoI70 for sure.
All right, fantastic. Well, Margaret, is there anything else that you would like to add that folks should keep in mind during this winter driving season?
No, just check your tires. It's a critical component to keep an I-70 flowing is to make sure we all have good tires and that we're making sure we travel it at good times.
All right, sounds great. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the 50+ Winter Games.